More than 100 flood warnings are still in place as communities clear up the damage from Storm Bert. More than 100 flood warnings are still in place across parts of England, Wales and Scotland after Storm Bert caused damage and disruption over the weekend. More rain is falling today on already wet ground, even as communities in the affected areas try to clear up. This was the scene at Billing Aquadrome, where 1,000 residents were told to evacuate. It's the third time the caravan park has flooded this year. Our correspondent Alison Freeman has the latest.
Everything that was 3 or 4 foot up, including the sofas, was floating from front to back, like a scene from the Titanic, and surreal, silent and odd.
This barber's shop in Chippenham is just one of the businesses left assessing the damage today after the River Avon burst its banks, sending floodwater through the town, causing chaos in many of the shops. People here say they've not seen anything like it for decades, but they aren't going to be beaten.
We'll get everything out, we'll hose it to death, and then we'll work backwards and see what's salvageable and take it from there and do the best we can as soon as we can. A couple of days, hopefully.
Just a few doors down at the pet shop, it's a community effort, helping to clean up after the flooding.
One of my customers has come in to help me tidy up, and we've had customers coming in already buying stuff, so just because they want to help out. It's amazing. It just makes us feel wanted on this high street and gives us like the fire in the belly to sort of push through and carry on.
And the owner is passing that goodwill forward. Any food sachets that can't be sold because of damaged packaging is being sent to the local animal shelter. In Northampton, the Environment Agency described the deluge as a 1-in-100-year event. People living at the Billing Aquadrome were forced to leave the caravan park. Many offered shelter and much more at a local leisure centre.
We're trying to offer them a little bit of hope because a lot of these people have lost their homes to the floodwaters, and we are just giving them some warmth as well. Obviously they've been in a really tough situation with being in water for a long time and having to evacuate in the middle of the night, not having to take all of the stuff that they need.
In Cymtaleri in South Wales, washout from an old coal tip caused slurry to come down the mountain. Homes had to be evacuated, and people who live there have been told it could be weeks before they can return. Thoughts are now turning to what can be done to stop communities experiencing the devastating effects of flooding.
So now the forward look in terms of what is best for these communities that have been affected. There's different measures that can be put in place. Is hard structures the right thing for communities? In certain circumstances, yes, but in other circumstances, it's not right. So it's trying to get a balance between natural flood management, personal property resilience, and also building walls and big infrastructure.
For now, though, many on the high street in Chippenham are just hoping to get back on track for the run-up to Christmas.
It's got to be pragmatic, it's got to get clean, it'll get clean, it'll go, we'll be back in business.
Alison Freeman, BBC News.
More than 90 flood warnings are still in place across England and Wales following the chaos caused by Storm Bert, with fresh fears over more heavy rain. A severe danger to life warning remains in place for the River Nene in Northamptonshire after a caravan park was submerged for the third time this year, and another named Storm Conall is due to bring more heavy rain to southern England tonight. Joe Black has more details.
In the early hours, volunteers wade through the water at Billing Aquadrome. Although the holiday park has been evacuated, some residents have decided to stay put, so checks on their welfare are needed. Members of Surf Life Saving Great Britain have come from as far away as Cornwall and Worcestershire to assist the fire service here in Northampton as they work through this major incident.
There was a mixture of being chest deep right down to ankle deep. But the water started to recede quite quickly, so what was at one point we were paddling now ended up being they were wading. So it's as quick as that, really.
This site floods often, and this evacuation impacted around 1,000 residents.
The sirens went off probably the third or fourth time we've been evacuated this year due to the flooding. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
The authorities here have warned that more rain is expected overnight and into tomorrow, which will fall on already saturated ground and could cause more problems. In Chippenham in Wiltshire, businesses are assessing the damage after the River Avon burst its banks. Today, the Minister for Flooding paid a visit to see the clean-up effort for herself.
This is why we're putting £2.4 billion into flooding over the next 2 years, and that's also building new defences, but also, as we can see here, it's really important to maintain the defences that we have already.
Meanwhile, a man has been arrested after this tractor was seen driving through deep floodwater in Tenbury Wells, which led to damage to shops. As the clean-up from Storm Bert continues and many warnings remain in place, some residents are criticising the authorities and calling for better flood warnings. Joe Black, BBC News.
And a man's been arrested after allegedly driving through deep floodwater in a tractor, causing waves to smash the windows of local shops in the town centre of Worcestershire on Sunday. The 57-year-old, who was arrested on suspicion of criminal damage and dangerous driving, has been released on bail.
And as Storm Bert moves off, Storm Conall moves in. Warnings are already in place for heavy rain.